What's up, y'all? Coming at you guys with a Creepin' Death breakdown, the 1K sub special. So, yeah, thank you guys for 1K, and I'm gonna hop straight into it. So, I want to first start off by saying every one of these guitar tracks is quad track. If not, they're double track. Like, there's this one part here that's double track. But other than that, everything else is quad track. So I'm going to start out with the main riff right around here. So you can tell it kind of cuts off. I record things in parts. That way I can just get everything tighter. And, you know, quad tracking kind of takes a little bit more skill, I would say. So I just break it down on pieces to make it easier for me to get good takes. And you can kind of tell here I'm playing a little bit different than what's on the record. I mean, I play pretty much different than what's on the record for all the E-flat stuff. I kind of do my own thing. But yeah, that leads into another part right around here. And there's like a little harmony type thing before it leads into the little solo part. And then that harmonizes with these two. It's just that tiny part. But it just makes it sound even bigger and huge, at least to my ears. And then we get into the riffing part. So first, what's under this is just like power chords. It's just E to A, or E flat to A flat. So and I do those little slides and stuff just to help those, you know, cuts and stuff transition better. And what's really interesting is this stuff. So there's like multiple variations that I'm doing just to kind of keep it interesting, because it's really only those two chords, E and A. But it's just the patterns that I'm doing that's kind of keeping it interesting. So I'll play it for you guys, and then I'll actually play it on my guitar live, slowed down, so you guys can hear what I'm doing a little bit better. So you can hear there's kind of like 4 different variations. The front tail on E kind of stays the same throughout all 3 rounds, but I always change the A part. So here, I'm gonna bring out my guitar, and then I'll play it for you guys so you can hear it. But it just adds to the overall sound, and, you know, keeping things interesting for the listener. And then there's also this little lead type thing that I came up with. Here it is in isolation then. So I mean, it's very little, but it's like pan 70 left, 70 right, and it's 2 different octaves playing the same thing. It's just the weird rhythm and, you know, what the rhythms beneath it are doing. Because it does like 3 hits or 4 hits or something, I think. And it just kind of brings everything together. And I felt that was a good chance to kind of do something. And then that little down after kind of seals it in a little bit more. All right. And then we're going to move on to this kind of raunchy part here. So I'll play this through and then I'll kind of break it down. So this is just, a lot of you guys were asking questions about that harmonic kind of thing. I'm doing that again here. So I do like the big power chord stab, and then instead of holding it out, I do the harmonic there. Because I think it's a little bit more interesting to do on the second half. And then we go into like a real kind of up and down stroke kind of thing. That sounded really stupid, but I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, this really adds a lot because whenever the next part comes in, it's like a punch in the gut with power chords. It's just a big, huge E chord. And that silence that comes from there really helps accentuate that, I think. So, yeah. And then we're going to move on to this next part. I'll back it up a little bit so you guys can kind of hear what I'm talking about with that big punch. But yeah, huge punch in the beginning, and then there's like a little continuation of the harmony that I do here. Because, I mean, this is something that I just heard in my head whenever I did the different lines. But yeah, again, just really tight quad tracking and kind of doing what my ear tells me to do. And then we have this huge breakdown part. This was actually made in another project file because it's so big and like it slows down the tempo too. So I kind of just had to record that separately and then throw it into this one. But yeah, I'll bring that one up for you guys really quick as well. See here, and then creep break. We have huge slides, and they're long, and they're all playing different stuff, I believe. So that's a pick scrape. Those are 2 pick scrapes, 2 different ones. And then those are just regular slides, but they're going in different directions. And then there's a center slide. You can hear these are panned. And this one is in the center. But all together, it makes a really big, you know. But yeah. And then we go into the main riff. I was going to quad track this, but then whenever I looked into it more and I started playing it more, I realized it wasn't heavy enough. So I know that sounds really cliche, but I put 6 tracks then, and I think it turned out pretty good. and then it does another cycle of that riff. But I want to show you guys what I'm doing here, because this is all my stuff. This is what I added. All right, so first, again, double track harmonies. That's the main thing whenever I do my harmonies. They're always double tracked, and they always have a little bit of a cut on them, just to help out with giving room for the rhythms. So you can see right here, it's kind of cut out a little bit in the low end. So and then the other harmony sound like this. And what makes that so interesting is because while this stays the same, these other two descend down. So it gives it this cool, moving sound when, both of them are not really moving, but it adds enough variation to catch your ear. And then behind that is 2 double track little wah kind of thing. I was just trying to mess around and see if I could find any cool stuff to add as far as like leads. So this is what I came up with. But you can hear this one is kind of processed a little bit more, and it sweeps in, because it would be weird for it to just, just hit right away while everything else is kind of already going crazy. But yeah, I'll play this part along with everything so you can hear it now that it's broken down. Yeah, so now that we're back in here, this I feel is really the most interesting part of this whole project, is these harmonies alone. So I'm gonna first start out with the rhythms. It's very simple. It's just continuing this whole like power chord, bar chord kind of thing the whole time. It's really cool though with the harmonies. I'll play this first. Alright, so you can see that's very, very basic, right? And then we have these harmonies. Again, double tracked on everything, but these are lower octaves, and then these are higher octaves, but they shift the beat over. So it's almost like a call and response whenever they come in. I think it's really cool, but I'm gonna first start off by showing these harmonies. And then we get on to the octave harmony, and you can kind of hear where this tone response is. And then that transition into this. But I'm going to mute these other parts and just show you guys the rhythms first, how this transitions into the rhythms. But yeah. And how I get that huge sound on the second part is two of my quad track guitars do this weird power chord where the fifth is the root. But these other ones are still regular. But together they sound huge. Alright. And then we get into these harmonies. So these harmonies have a lot going on. So I'll just play them through first. And you guys can kind of hear what's going on. And then I'll break it down. Alright, so first, again, it's octaves and then just lower octaves. And it's again with the call and response, but I'm also doing call and response on the lower octave. So the first harmony and then of course that's double track. And then it starts on the offbeat. So it shifts on to the on beat, and then that's whenever everything really hits. I think that's why these harmonies are so cool, because they start off on the off, they do the call and response, then they come together and it all hits like a freight train whenever it does. And then we move on to these harmonies, which would be the octave ones, the high octave. So all together, if I mute these rhythms, you can hear how like powerful this stuff is. Here, I'll show you. Like, to me, that sounds epic. Like, that just sounds huge. And that's really what I wanted at the end, because the end always feels that way to me, but I wanted to accentuate it as much as I could. But yeah, I think what makes it so crazy is the combination of the rhythm change on these harmonies, the call and response, and also just the heavying up of the second part of the harmonies. So I kind of want to listen again. I love that part. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this breakdown, man. I appreciate all you guys. 1,000 subs. That's crazy. I appreciate all the love you guys show me. I also am starting to do some original stuff, so I'd appreciate if you guys would check that out. You know, drop by. I mean, it's just little snippets. You guys can see if you like it or not. But yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one.